Hi guys, it's Kandee, and I was just thinking, I don't make enough videos in my pajamas with no makeup on. Not really, but I did want to make a video because anytime that I go on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter or anything, it just feels like it just is a place where I just like, oh my gosh, why is everybody else so much more successful than me? Why am I such a loser? And I don't want you guys to feel that way, and the internet isn't going anywhere, so I want to arm you guys with a couple things that I hope inspire you on your path to success and how to deal with things like this, because pretty much the internet, Instagram, everything is everybody's highlight reel. It's them posting, oh my gosh, I look so fabulous, take a selfie. I look so skinny in my outfit, take a picture. I'm having the most fun time in my life, take a picture of it now so everyone can see how awesome my life is. And in reality, nobody's posting pictures like, this is me brushing my teeth in the morning when I look horrible. This is me cleaning my toilet. This is me doing laundry. Those are the real moments, but we don't see those on Instagram because everybody just wants to post like cool pictures that people will like. I get it, I do it too. But sometimes you just see people's things, you're like, what? They're doing what? Oh my gosh, I don't have a house that looks like that. I'm not meeting celebrities. Ugh. Like, I don't want anybody to feel bad, so I want to show you guys something. And on my very own Instagram, I posted this yesterday. Can you see it? There's a little bit of a glare. It says, direction is so much more important than speed. Many people are going nowhere fast. And this is a true example for anybody. A lot of celebrities you see, or people that look like, oh my gosh, they're making it, they're on the rise. They're kind of going nowhere fast. And example of that would be, think of a rocket ship. Sometimes it's got a crazy trajectory shooting straight up to like Success Town. The faster that it gets closer to Success Town, the more it's gonna start rattling. Sometimes when it gets close to the Success Town, parts of the rocket ship may fall off, it may blow up, it may disintegrate. And that's what happens to a lot of people that I feel that are headed to success. And sometimes the very part that fell off was the part that cared about others. The part that wasn't selfish, the part that wasn't materialistic. Those parts that they needed maybe fell off along the way. And you see that with a lot of celebrities, especially young ones, when they look like they should be having so much fun. They've got everything they ever wanted. It's so great to be them. But then they look miserable, or they have drug or alcohol problems, or you just see they're super depressed, or all kinds of problems, and things just start falling apart, and you're like, oh, you're not okay. This is so sad. And I feel like sometimes a lot of that was the success that created that problem. Or when you look on Instagram and you see people with millions of followers, that may be the only success they're ever going to have, is getting millions of followers. And as we all know, most celebrities, like when people lost half of their billions and billions of followers, people bought those, they were all fake or whatever. So that's also an illusion too. You don't know if all those people's millions and millions of followers are even real, if they bought them or what. It's all about an illusion that people are creating. And sometimes when you see people, they're gaining a little success and then they turn into not a good version of themselves, when all of a sudden all they care about is money and showing off, and they don't care about people, and they just treat people like divas, and they're like, well, I'm doing me and you do you, and I just care about me and you just care about you. And that's a very selfish way to look at things. Yeah, you want to do what you're doing and don't listen to haters and people tearing you down, but you never want to forget to not care about the people around you. That should be the most important thing ever. And sometimes they're gonna have these big like explosions of success, and that's all it's gonna be. Maybe it'll last for a year, a couple years, and then maybe they spent all their money when they were making money, and then they're gonna have nothing to show for it later. You don't know. To give you an example, years ago when I was in makeup artist, could barely pay my rent, barely buy groceries. I had two friends. One friend, oh, I just got a house in the Hollywood Hills. Now I'm going to the Hamptons and traveling with all these celebrities. And my other friend was like, I just bought house number 20 and car number 80 and all these fancy bags and clothes and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I could barely buy groceries. I feel so sad and like a loser. And I just felt so depressed because my life wasn't doing what they were doing. And fast forward into the future, if I had stayed jealous about their little like temporary balls of success, and if I had seen into the future what was going to happen to both of them, my one friend, just a horrible, sad turn of event that just still breaks my heart that her life fell apart the way that it did. It's just so sad. That was the Hollywood Hill friend. My other friend lost everything, had to start totally over. No money, no cars, not anything. And I was so sad looking at their success, and it just lasted a brief moment. So if you see these people's success, like, oh, blowing up on Instagram, blowing up in their career, blowing up on the radio, whatever they're doing, you don't know how short that's going to last. There's many one-hit wonders in the world that these people become super famous and then totally forgotten. And you think One Direction is still going to be popular 40 years from now? Heck no! They're gonna be some guys sitting around with probably beer bellies being like, oh, remember back when the ladies would scream our names? That was awesome, huh? They could all be living in the same house together then, who knows? But don't be envious of these short and temporary little bubbles of success that people seem to be in. And the worst little bubbles of success is when all of a sudden they just care about the shoes they wear, the car they drive, the house they live in, just making themselves look fabulous. Success is not just being like, look how fabulous I am. Success is when you make people around you feel fabulous. And the world isn't fair. Sometimes you'll see awful people and you'll be like, why are they successful? I don't understand. They're not nice. They're awful. The world is not fair in that way. Things like that happen. And you'll see horrible people really successful, really great people never even make it or get to share their gifts with the world. But those people are probably happier and more blessed than the awful ones that are going to get depressed, develop all kinds of drug problems, they're in counseling, rehab, all these things, all after all this awesome success that they have. I want you guys to be encouraged to know you could have a success that's 20 times bigger than all these people that you're looking at and being jealous of. It might be 6 months from now, it might be a year from now, it might just be a little bit ahead that you can't see. If I would have seen the success that I was going to have back when I was depressed and envious of my friends, feeling like I'm a loser in my dark little gross little apartment, and I would never have believed what God had in store for me. And sometimes you may not even know what your path is. You may be like, I don't even know where to aim my rocket because I don't even know what my dreams are. I had dreams that were the wrong dreams. From the time I was little, I wanted to be an actress. I would write little movies. I would pretend I was in movies. I loved telling stories, and I loved the escape that people could have in a movie and then leave inspired, which does not happen with many movies nowadays anyway. But I was in musical theater, all these things. When I started off as a makeup artist, I would also go on auditions for things. And I had recently shaved my head and I wasn't as skinny as all the girls, so there were not a lot of roles for not very skinny girls with no hair, if you can imagine. And then I still thought that that was my dream. Like, I thought that was the dream of my heart of hearts, was to be an actress. Like, my whole life I did. And then later I realized, I was like, that is not my dream, really, at all. Because I would see it in the movies, I was like, I don't want to play a role where didn't do a sex scene. I don't cuss, if you guys didn't know that, and I wouldn't want them to make me say cuss words, and then I wouldn't, and then they would fire me for not saying the cuss words. And then I would see relationships like, oh, we're playing a romantic love scene, and then the actors really end up falling in love, and they really do have spouses, so they just create all this awful things. I didn't like any part of that at all in any way, unless I was like, I will write my own movie and star in my own movie. That was the only way I saw that could be possible. But that was a dream that I thought was where I wanted to go, but it wasn't. So we fast forward ahead to me finding out about YouTube. There were no YouTube celebrities back then. YouTube famous was not a thing. And I remember all the years of me doing makeup, people would be like, I wish you could teach me how to do makeup. I wish I could have you make me look beautiful like this every day. And I thought, oh my gosh, with YouTube, I can do this. You could take your computer in the bathroom and you can do your makeup right along with me, and I can teach you all. And so that is why I started YouTube. And I had no idea the doors that it was going to open, or the blessing or the dream come true that YouTube was going to be when I first did that. I was like the only one watching my videos when I started. Nobody else was watching my videos, just me refreshing it. But it became a huge blessing to me. And even when people would look at situations and circumstances, the first time a girl wrote me an email saying, I wanted to commit suicide and something you said inspired me not to. That is bigger to me than any reward, award, trophy, accolades, anything I could get on this earth. To know that to me is a greater success than I could ever have imagined with anything, And to me, that was a dream on my YouTube I didn't even know was going to exist. And then some people would probably look at my YouTube or different things in my life or moments, and I can give you an example. When I flew to London to meet Simon Cowell, and I was nervous because I'd seen American Idol and he kind of scared me. He was much nicer in person. But I remember right before I went to meet him, I was looking outside the window and it was raining on the street in London. I remember looking down and just tears were running down my face because I was so excited. I wanted to tell my dad, and he was no longer on earth anymore. And it just, I felt like this is such an awesome moment, but I was so sad about there was just this heartache, And if people looked at it like, oh my gosh, Kandee's having this awesome time, I was like, but my heart hurts, and I'm crying. And I remember thinking in that moment, I said, I have to turn this around. And what would my dad say? And I was so nervous before I walked in the room to go meet him. And I remember I could just almost hear my dad saying, you go in there and you have fun with him and you make memories. He's just a guy. He may know, a lot of people know him and he may have a lot of money, but he's just a guy. You just go in there and have fun. And I took that little piece of my dad in my heart with me. And I did have fun, and I wasn't very nervous after I walked in the door. But it's all those moments that you don't know the emotion behind things. And I know I have friends on Instagram that their whole personal life could be falling apart and nobody would know that because they posted this picture from last week when they looked cute or whatever. So don't fall for those kind of illusions and like the instant gratification that we need. Like now that we have phones, we wait 2 seconds for something and we're like, oh my gosh, this took 5 seconds. I don't have time for this. It feels like we need to find our instant love of our life, instant dream coming true, instant success, instant all of these things. And the truth is, when you do find that love of your life, you could be like, oh my gosh, you are worth all of everything I went through and all the waiting and all the other relationships that didn't work out so that I could find you. And you'd be so thankful for that. And then your dreams coming true. You could be like, I could be thinking, oh my gosh, my acting career never came true. Now I'm a failure. And I could have been stuck on that. But instead, I got another gift of YouTube being a dream I didn't even dream of that came true that is so amazing. And just more fulfilling than I could ever imagine to be a part of your lives and hopefully encourage you guys. I want you guys to keep going forward. You don't know how big your dream could be. It could be bigger than the dream you even think you're dreaming. And it could be 20 times bigger than the success you think somebody else is having. Just keep going forward and don't give up because you don't know what is waiting ahead for you on the path. We get so worried thinking, oh, it's full of nothingness. And it could have the biggest things 1 month, 6 months, 1 year ahead that we can't even see. That's just waiting for you. And your success, your greatest success should always be what's happening on the outside of you to the people around you, the way that you're making people feel. The greatest success of all time will be you inspiring, encouraging, loving, and making people around you feel amazing. People should leave your presence feeling better than they did before. Even if it's one person a day you give a compliment to. If you can start with one person, if you feel uncomfortable doing that, just give one person an honest and sincere compliment or a kind word or a smile or something wonderful and watch how it changes your life around you. Don't be focused on you so much and your success like you see other people are, and that becomes the only thing that's important to them. I don't care if you have a closet full of designer clothes, a garage full of fancy cars. None of that matters. Your clothes are going to go out of style and need to be replaced. Those cars are going to fall apart and cooler, better cars are going to come out. You're going to be on a hamster wheel, always chasing more. I need newer, I need fancier. If your success goal is, hanging out with celebrities, going to red carpet events, once you go to one red carpet, you're going to be like, I have to go to bigger and better ones. I have to meet bigger and more celebrities. You're never going to be satisfied with those continual things that really mean nothing. I guaranteed if I meet a cool celebrity that I love, if I met Gwen Stefani, you know I'm going to post a picture and be like, oh my gosh, I just met her. I'm so excited. But that is not my level of, look who I hang out with, look at my purse, look at my bag, look at me taking 25 Louis Vuitton bags on my dream vacation on a yacht. Those are not things showing off is not cool. If you're going to show things and it's like your friend's like, oh my gosh, look what I'm doing. That's what I hope anything I ever post comes across as. Because I see other people like, man, I just look at your pictures, I just feel bad about myself. Like I feel like a big failure. I want you to be excited for other people's success because know that you have a bigger success to focus your eyes on. If I had focused on my friend's success, I would have been lost in a sea of more depression. But know that every hardship or trial or something that you go through, that is building your success story so much more interesting and better. You see other people and you're like, you got successful out of nowhere for what? You didn't even have a struggle or nothing? That is not interesting. People want to hear an amazing success story of things you overcame, hardships you went through, things that made you a better person for coming out of them and becoming stronger. And I hope that that is my story can be inspiring to other people. And I hope that the next time you go on Instagram and you start to feel bad, you put on your blinders so you can't see what they're doing. And these are my success blinders. I'm not going to look at what you're doing and make it feel bad because I'm going to look and see the awesome place where I'm going because I'm going to go to great places. And those places you're going, again, could be a million times cooler and better than their little success that you're looking at. That may be their only ball of success they're ever going to have. It may fall away next year or next month, and that's all they're going to talk about forever. So you stay focused on what you are going to do. I hope this video, something I said, encouraged and inspired you guys. Huge extra hugs if you're still watching because this was a long talky video. If you guys do like seeing these kind of videos, let me know. I'll try to keep them shorter. This guy is a little long, I know. I don't even want to edit it. I'm just going to leave it up. I'm not even going to edit anything out. It's going to be 20 minutes. You can stop watching whenever you want to or rewatch all 20 minutes if you're bored. But I love you guys. Know that your success is waiting. Don't look at what anybody else is doing because you could have success so much bigger in store for you. And I can't wait to see what that is. The greatest success is when you care more about the people around you than just about yourself. So always make sure that is your success story. I love you guys. Huge hugs, and I will see you in the next shorter video. Bye.